All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of now Teslafy Full Self-Driving, finally version 4. I'm on version 12.4.3, and this is the biggest thing with this one. Apparently, it is a fully retrained from the ground up, so it should be a different beast than 12.3.6, which was my last version. But at the same time, I've heard some mixed things here, some good, some bad. But the biggest and most notable is that now, supposedly, if you're not wearing sunglasses or have obstructions, cabin camera is going to do some work in order to actually allow me to drive and not use the steering wheel to satisfy the nag, and instead just look forward, eyes forward. So I got the camera up here so you guys can see my eyes. I'm actually going to try and put on my sunglasses too to see how that works. We're going to take my normal test loop 1 and again see how that works out for us today. So here we are with version 12.4.3. I'm not going to go through the release notes. Unfortunately, they're just super scarce these days. Like, as soon as we've moved to version 12, we've pretty much gotten very little in the way of release notes. So there might be some other nuggets in here. But first and foremost, I want to let you know, one, I've got chapters down here, so if you want to skip to certain parts, check out the chapters so you can skip to those. 2, I've got subs to shout out. Thank you guys all so much for subscribing, and if you aren't subscribed already, please do so. I'm a little over 800 subscribers, really looking to hit that 1,000 mark, but today I'm shouting out Rudy A, Frank B, Olsrith M, Watch Noah, Pramod G, Erdy Z, Dennis, Titus, Tony's SC Toyota. I should get a Tesla, my dude. Jew, Mayor G, Grace Shot Down, what's up, my friend? Ian O, Sean D, what's also up, my friend? He's a Cybertruck owner here in Wenatchee. Welcome to the channel, my dude. And Mark D. So again, thank you all so much for subscribing. It really helps me out. You know, I love making these videos. But they are time consuming. So, and if you haven't yet, check out my latest video up here. That is on some awesome products from Joa to help get you organized inside the cabin. So really handy for this. All right, so I've got my location plugged in. We're going to Pybus, and this is going to be an unedited version. So maybe a little bit longer. I'm going to give full commentary on the way. And let's go, right? So let's put it in drive. And let's see if we get our steering wheel notification to let us know. Yep, so there it is. I can go ahead and enable it. So I've got the single press enabled. Signal on. We've got the green dot, which will signal that I don't need to do the steering wheel nag. So we shall see. So technically, you're supposed to have your hands on the steering wheel still. That's what Tesla says here, and by all metrics. But everybody is saying that, or a lot of people are saying that you don't need to. We'll see what happens. With 12.3.6, it has actually been doing very well around town. At least I know where it messes up, and it does so pretty consistently. So I know where to look and where I feel comfortable, and most of the time I did. So 12.3.6 has been working very well for me around town, and we'll take a look at some of those spots where it consistently messed up. I'm really anxious to see if it solved a couple of my big issues. And if you haven't seen the aerial video I did, Grace Shot Down came down from Yakima and did some drone footage while we did this exact same loop. So if you want to see what this looks like from the air, which I highly recommend you do, take a look at that video. You get to see some of these intersections and kind of how crazy they are. Plus, it was during spring and it was a gorgeous time of year. Doesn't get better than that. So, all right. So this is our first unprotected left, and this is pretty good. We got traffic coming from both sides pretty consistently. And there's a lot of folks that do make a left turn in front of us here. And in previous versions, I've had sometimes, geez, I didn't even clean off my windshield. I'm sorry, guys. I was so excited to get out here and do this test. I tried to put together all the camera gear I could, make sure I got my subs list all up to date. And yeah, I tried to jump out here as soon as possible to get this going for you today. I made it into, I guess it would technically be wave 2. So if you count wave 0 as being the early access testers, the OGs, if you will, and then was a wave 1 about 2 days ago, but it was actually like 3 days? It was like 3 days after the initial wave 0, and we weren't sure if we were going to get another release. So still traffic. And we should be able to go after this Toyota. But the interesting thing is we have this turn lane here. Oh, it's so timid. It totally could have gone, but we have this kind of merge lane, which, again, if you were watching the aerial, you could see we could jump into that lane, no problem. Oh, it's wide open. It's wide open. Nothing. Oh my gosh, that was such a huge gap. 12.3.6 would have gone before that. So it's kind of our first experience of how timid this release is. And luckily I've got nobody behind me. Otherwise I would have gone. We've got a creep fence here, which we're not up to that creep line. I don't think we need it, but at the same time, man, we're waiting for the largest gap of all. A little bit of creep, it could totally go. It should go. It should go. It should go. And it's not going to go. Okay, so that's as far as I'm going to let it go here. So the next gap I see, I'm going to go ahead and intervene because it 100% should have gone. That was a wide open gap. I've never seen it that timid before. Maybe not even on version 10. Okay, so I'm going. Gave it. So there's a first intervention, unfortunately. Again, just wide open on either side and easily shot the gap, once I gave it the intervention, right? So I hope these things get worked out, right? Okay, so we need to yield here to traffic, which is fine. We probably could have gone, but I would have waited too, so. And now timid afterwards, so we can go. Again, I got nobody behind me. Wow, and it waited for that green light to go. So good pickup after the fact, but way too timid. So far, no nags yet either. And if you're new to the channel, again, thank you for stopping by. I'm in Central Washington, a small town called Wenatchee. If you're from the area, hit me up. Leave a comment below. If you want to do a ride along or what have you, even just chat, I'm good with that. I don't think there wasn't any new features beyond FSD for this version either. So we're still on the 2024.15 branch. I know some folks are on 2024.20. And there's some interesting things coming. So again, like your phone, it gets better with updates. But if you're on the beta track, like me, sorry, it's not even beta anymore. It's supervised, right? Luckily supervised. It's like the first real taste of like camera supervision, them supervising me, and I guess am supervising at the same time, making sure it's not screwing up, right? And if you're newer to FSD and you're just kind of wanting to see what's out there and how it's performing and that sort of thing, try and mention some of the basics here. But especially recently, FSD with version 12 has gotten very good, so much better than it has ever been, which obviously you'd expect, but it was definitely a leap with V12. And we're getting some of these things like the timidness. All right, so we got a yield here to traffic circle traffic, and we totally did this perfectly. That was a great merge. Like right after this M3, didn't have any sort of concern at all that this would be an issue. Let me double check the route here and make sure it's not trying. Okay, it is. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm going to disengage here, but I'm only disengaging because of the route. So once the route recorrects, I'm going to go up here to Mission Street. I don't want to bypass there, so it should reroute here, and then I'll re-enable it for everybody. And sorry, it's only shifted its path a little within the last couple of versions. This used to not be an issue, so I may need to like put in like a waypoint so it skips this. So the unfortunate part with no sunglasses, right, is when you're getting in these sunny times of the day. Gosh, you know, I guess you put up with a nag, but we're testing the no nag here. So, and I did most certainly when I was fiddling with the map there before I disengaged just to see what was up. 100%, I got the nag right away. So it doesn't allow you long to not pay attention to the road. So, but yeah, as soon as my eyes are forward, we got the green dot. And since this is straight, let's do a little bit of testing here. So I'm going to look away. I'm going to look at the screen here for a minute, see what's up. Kind of hard to look that. Okay, yep. So apply slight force, and let's see if I just look forward. All right, it went away. That's pretty awesome. So that worked well. And let's count. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006. All right, so about 6 seconds there, and then within a second that went away. So that's pretty good. 6 seconds is a reasonable time, enough for me to glance down and see what's going on at the screen, maybe even a little bit more so with that. So not bad. Since we're also here on a straightaway, I got some sunglasses. And let's see if my sunglasses trip it up. And then we've got our turn up here down a rondo. So putting on the sunglasses, and I'm looking straight, so maybe you could tell these are polarized, so it may cause an issue. We're stopped now too, so I still see the green dot. Okay. Attention monitoring unavailable. Sunglasses detected. All right, so there is that. Verified by putting on sunglasses, and it's not going to allow you to use the monitoring. So I don't see the green dot though, which is interesting. So did it just not? Yeah, so I'm going to have to tweak the wheel. All right, so it's back on now. So I did tweak the wheel a bit there to get rid of the nag, but here we are in our turn down a rondo, and what I call the Pybus challenge. So again, if you're new to the channel, at the bottom of the street, we have a right turn only that has been a plague of my route. And we're making an early left turn. Look at that. So before, you know, we'd usually get down to the next block, and it would be in that right turn only lane, and then it would try to go straight through the right turn only. So we might have to do that a couple of times. It's been something I've done in the past when it failed. Again, if you check out the video with Gray Shot Down, we did that loop a couple of times, and it did it about 50%. So, but we're already heading for success, and to be honest, so far a one intervention drive, right? So that extreme timidness on that unprotected left, extreme timidness. It's the only time that I've had to intervene. Good stop, but not and all the way to zero, but immediately on over the intersection. So, and it did have a car behind me and didn't feel awkward at all. So it looks like we are going to get a pass for the Pybus challenge. Let's go. We're gonna let it pull in here, and then if I see a parking spot, I might try and give Autopark here a quick test. So I'm gonna go ahead and take over here by just turning the wheel. Again, if you're new to autopilot, you can just take over and do what you would normally do. And yeah, let's try this parking right here. And start. So I'm not giving this a good head start. I had, in this version, I had usually been giving it trying to position myself as in the best position in order to get it done as quickly as possible. And so it had the best chance of success. So it looks like we're going to get... That wasn't quick, but it was done in one shot. That's pretty fantastic. So, I mean, well, I shouldn't say one shot. It took its time to move forward just a little bit, but it got into the good position. So, hey, that's a success too. So, that's good. We've got success all the way up to Autopark. And I would say that was a little bit faster, even though it did have to correct itself a little bit. But let's come out of the market here. We're going to put in our end route, and then we're going to continue with the loop. And we've got a couple of challenges on the way back. The biggest one is going to be on the bridge. So I'm doing some manual driving here. I should have probably enabled it right there in the line. Oh, it's not available to me yet, so now it is. So it has had some times as well, or some issues as well, coming out of parking lots when you immediately enable it. I can't see that's going to take a... It looked like it was going to take a right there, so it took over. I don't know if I should count that as disengagement. Taking a right instead of a left to stay on the path. Alright, so we're re-enabling it here. Again, I have noticed if you enable it right before you're coming out of the lot, and it looked like the route was maybe going in a different direction. I don't know, it was a little bit confusing. So we'll discount that one. We'll discount that one. I mean, I think eventually, yes, you want to enable it even there, and it should go. But you know, there's some things maybe stacked against it, which we don't necessarily need to be kind towards. And it would have rerouted, but for the sake of time and staying with the loop that I normally do, disengage. So we'll not count that one. But maybe in future versions, when I maybe start enabling it inside the parking lot when I can, I'll do that. All right, so another unprotected left followed up by a quick right, and it is wide open. It should go, and has not had problems with this either. So again, timid there with that left turn, and plenty of vision on both sides. All right, and we've got another unprotected left here. And this can be busy. Usually in my videos it hasn't been. And this is a gimme. It should totally go. It should 100% go, okay? Again, a little timid, but safe, good pickup, and we're getting into the correct lane right away. So I'm already liking this, anticipating the lane that it needs to be in well ahead of the route. I mean, that's how I drive. I've always been of the mindset where if I know, like, even a mile and a half up the road, I need to be in a right lane. Unless it's really packed traffic or something, I know eventually I can get around it or something. But if it's not high traffic, then I'm going to go ahead and get in the lane as soon as possible. All right, nicely avoiding, not that it was a huge issue, but it did give some space to the pedestrian getting out of her car. All right, so the next couple of things that I'm looking for up here. So we've got our Clover on-ramp to the bridge, and this creates its own lane once it gets onto the bridge. So it should be able to maintain speed throughout. It doesn't need to slow or merge on traffic here at all. Turn signal, that has been something that's shown up here and there. It went away on the last version, 12.3.6, but it looks like we've got the turn signal back here. It's fine. It's just unnecessary because we're already in the lane, and we're not going to be, it was a right turn only lane anyway. So we don't need to be slowing here. We should immediately get up to speed, which will be 40. I'm expecting to see no braking and get up to speed, please. Okay. So not getting up to speed quickly. But we also didn't slow for any of the traffic. So there's the 40 mile an hour sign, and it is not moving up. Okay. And then this lane is okay to be in, but I feel like it's cheating for FSD. So my preference has always been that it's on this outside lane, which is still a right turn only, which is the biggest challenge I'm hoping that it solves. And it looks like we're going to be sticking to this inside lane, which is fine. This is the exit that we need to take, but I like to be on this outer lane that kind of goes in between these two. So again, if you check out the drone video shoot that I did, you can see the lane that we're supposed to be in and where it goes wrong, because it messed up in that one as well. The other thing that has happened in this scenario too is when it does choose the inside lane, it then has a hard time getting into this left lane, which again we need to be in to make our exit. And there we go. So this is acceptable. This is, I would if it did this every single time, huge success. I would take it. That lane change was right there, was perfect. On version 11, almost all going forward, it would be in the, if it was in the outer, or if it was in the inner lane, it would shift on the, as it was making the turn. So waiting for the straightaway there is great, making the left, getting into the correct lane. And then on 12.3.6, if it was in the inside lane, it would sometimes wouldn't even move over to the exit, and it would go off path. So far, we're having phenomenal drive, and there really isn't any really more challenges in this one, right? Well, this should be cakewalk from here. We've got a stoplight, we've got a protected left up here, and then we've got another right turn, and then a left from a street, not necessarily like unprotected, right? So it's the rest of the route is super easy. You can see here we're here at the light. We got to go up to this light, make a left, and then a right, and then we're going back to basically where I started. Again, it's a loop, and those are easy. Those are things that has been doing perfectly since even V11 was doing well with those things. But outside of that first intervention with how timid it was from the left turn, this has been a flawless drive, right? I mean, I don't think I've missed anything. And sometimes it'll be in that right lane for this intersection too, and then it has to speed up, so being in this lane is perfect as well. It's like a socially, yeah. You guys, this could be the best FSD drive ever on my test loop 1. Trying not to get too excited too early because we're not done, but the rest is cake. This should be stuff that I do on a day-to-day basis. Super stoked on the exit from the bridge. Could have got up to speed a little bit faster getting onto the bridge. We got that turn signal, whatever. Irritating, but you're technically making a right, so whatever. And it's doing all the things that I wanted it to do. We passed the Pybus challenge. We yielded appropriately to traffic on the bridge, and we even had a car. Sometimes that's a gimme too. And we've had a couple other unprotected lefts. It does seem like we are getting some timidness from those unprotected lefts. It really wants a huge gap, and we haven't had Chuck yet. Chuck is out of town. We haven't even seen Chuck try to do his left turn yet on 12.4.3. So, shout out to Chuck Cook. I finally got to meet him at the shareholder event, and gosh, that was awesome. That was such an epic event for meeting such cool people that I love, follow, and many of you as well. So Chuck is an awesome guy. I got to talk to him for quite a bit. Hung out with Bearded Tesla for a while. Shout out to Justin. And of course, Howie and everybody. So too many names at the event. Alexandra, of course, thank you to her for all she's done for shareholders. Ryan, my +1 for the event. Such fun to meet him and to hang out with him. So great time. And look at that. So this is, you guys, we did it. You did it. Tesla, you did it. We have passed loop 1 with the exception of the one intervention, which was, I could see that easily passing in the future. The one thing that I have noticed with all these versions is they do start out really timid when we first get them, but as time goes on, that kind of goes away. So Tesla must have some level of ability to tweak some things in order to provide some. I'll go ahead and park here because it's technically where we're going to end. I might actually have it turn around. There's a cul-de-sac down here. Let's see if I put it here. I'm gonna drop a marker real quick. I'll drop this marker real quick. We'll navigate there to see if it does this cul-de-sac, which it's done on a number of times. And see if we can get that done. But perfect. I mean, this is exactly what I've been hoping for. And I think with the timidness, that will, again, like I was trying to say, I think it will go away after a bit of additional time. I also watched Whole Mars ride with Machine. I recommend watching that too. They go through some pretty challenging, very narrow roads, which I guess they have done before, but I hadn't seen their previous video doing that. And that was super impressive, some of the negotiation did here. All right, so we're doing the cul-de-sac, no problem. Maybe a little bit slow, but hey, it's a cul-de-sac, right? Before it would totally just get stuck, but now it's making it a little bit shaky, but hey, I'm not going to complain about that at all. So yeah, I'm going to call it now. This is 100% the best version of full self-driving I have ever tested on Test Loop 1. Obviously, we've got more testing to do, but for Test Loop 1's sake, bravo. So excited. Tesla, this is the future, you guys, and people have no idea. You guys watching this video, you have an idea. You're in the know. And that's why Tesla stock is going up. The people in the know what's happening. So, all right, I'm going to call it for this video. I've got more testing to do. I'll be doing more videos. And again, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it to this far into the video. Again, thank you so much. And if you want to shout out on my next full self-driving video, just subscribe to my channel and I'll shout you out at the beginning, just like I did everybody at the beginning here as well. And help me get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be so cool. Yeah, and if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, feedback, did you see something weird that I didn't see? I was paying attention to the road. I wasn't watching the screen. I didn't use my hands that much. Full self-driving. Let's go.